Almost, yeah. All right, guys, welcome to the Sports Frequency podcast, and we have with us live Jonathan Craig. I really don't need to introduce him. So he was all the Indian football fans. He was the goalkeeping coach of Real Kashmir FC. He has won the IFA Shield, and he's as well an endorsee of EvoGK and the interim coach of Falkirk FC at the moment. Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
So how are your days back at home now?
My days have been good. They've been busy, obviously, after the quarantine time and coming back to Scotland. It's been really, really good. I've done a number of camps, a number of coaching days, and then just previously took on the role at Falkirk as first team goalkeeping coach. So that has kept me really, really busy. It's the way I like to be. I don't like to be sitting about the house. So yeah, no, it's been a really, really busy time, but a really enjoyable time as well.
So as you recently signed for Falkirk FC, like tell me more about the club. Like how's the structure? How the days go by?
Well, Falkirk they're a really big club. In my opinion, they should be playing in a higher level in Scotland. They're in Scotland League One. They're two levels below the Scottish Premier League, but they've got a rich history, and and I'm sure they'll get back to where they belong very, very soon. And the structure of the club is really, really good. It was ran really professionally. New sporting director who's just went in, Gary Hall. He's got great plans for the club, so exciting plans. So it'll be an exciting time next season. Fantastic people, great people to work with, and most importantly, the goalkeepers that I've worked with have been excellent. Have been absolutely different class, and obviously a new coach coming in, me with my own ideas, my own way of how a goalkeeper should play within a team philosophy. So yeah, there was a lot of video analysis, a lot of conversations on the pitch, off the pitch. So yeah, it's been really, really good, really good. Unfortunately, results haven't quite went our way. The season is now finished, so unfortunately we didn't make the playoff position. But the club did have a lot of injured players, a lot of young players playing as well. But that's all part of football. We'll pick ourselves up again, dust ourselves off, and then go again for the new season, and hopefully the club can win promotion back to the Scottish Championship.
Absolutely, I really hope that that happens. Like as you spoke about injuries, I would like to just have a word on that. Uh, Injuries happen in every team, like, but how do you deal with it? Like if you have your main player injured, if you have your first team goalkeeper injured, how do you deal with that?
Well, it's a very good question because obviously your first choice is your first choice, but you've got to be able to coach and train your second choice to be up to the standard of the first choice, because when that opportunity comes, he's got to go in and grab it with both hands. So it's down to me as the coach to really emphasize the points to the second choice. Listen, you're starting off the season a second choice, but there could be that one occasion that in a warm up in training the day before the game that something happens to the first choice goalkeeper, and then you've got to be physically and mentally ready to step in, because once you step in and you get that opportunity, then and you play well, then the jersey is yours. The jersey is yours. So it's down to me as a coach to make sure that they're mentally prepared. And I had that this season with Real Kashmir when Mithan got injured and Anuj Kumar came in for a few
Yeah.
games. So he had to be ready, and he he trained brilliantly. So up until the point that we played against Churchill Brothers, and he was excellent in the game. So I was happy with that because he's taken everything on board. He's not seen himself as a second choice, and that's the way that I would coach any goalkeeper or speak to any goalkeeper. Listen, I know you're not playing, but I'm not seeing you as a second choice. I'm seeing you as somebody who's battling for the first choice position.
So there is competition at all time for the first choice, first team position. So uh, when that competition actually happens, how do you deal with that pressure? Like when both the goalkeepers are almost at the same level, but one has to go up as the first team and one has to be at the second team. Must be difficult, but how do you deal with that?
It's very difficult, but the way that I work, it's very important to communicate. It's to sit down with your goalkeepers. There's a saying in goalkeeping coaching where the goalkeeping union. I don't call it the union. I call it my family, the goalkeeping family. So you've got to sit down. You've got to communicate. You've got to speak, and you've got to give the reasons why Mithun started the season and News was second choice. I gave the reasons why that was the case. And for any inspiring goalkeeping coach out there, I would say never be afraid to speak to your goalkeepers. Don't just have it fixed in your head that there's a first choice. There's only a first choice. I'm going to back him. Second choice, you're not going to get a snifter. So you've got to be able to get all goalkeepers on side, because at first team level, you're not only dealing with one and two, you're dealing with three, you're potentially dealing with four goalkeepers. So that's where it becomes really, really difficult, because you're then telling the third choice, you're not second choice, and you're
Yeah.
not in the squad, and you're telling fourth choice, you're not in the squad, and you're fourth choice goalkeeper. But it's within the environment, it needs to be right. So that's where communication with all goalkeepers, young, experienced, and very experienced, is very, very important. So then in the goalkeeping family, the training is at the level that I want, and the competition between all four goalkeepers is really, really high. And then what that does is that pushes the first choice to go, right, I need to step up every single training session. Every day I'm on that pitch, I need to step up because I've got three other guys behind me who want my position. So, and that comes from the coach. That comes from me demanding and just saying to the guys, listen, you're not first choice, you're not second, you're not third, you're not fourth. You're in the goalkeeping family. Whoever is performing here now is going to be my first choice, is going to be the second choice, is going to be third, is going to be fourth. So, yeah, communication is key.
Right. So the more you communicate, the more you like engage them in a competitive situation or an environment, the more it gets better for the team as well, because all four are
Mm-hmm.
fighting it off and all four are improving at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, on that point, you have experience with Falkirk FC now, and then you have coached Real Kashmir, and people know you for that in India.
Mm-hmm.
How uh, how is that? How are both the teams different? Like, what are the basic differences between the teams and the experience as well?
Well, obviously, the difference in culture, the Scottish culture is a lot more different than the Indian culture. I feel, obviously, the biggest thing to start off with is obviously the language, the understanding of what I'm trying to convey to my goalkeepers. But the way that I coach and the way that I train, I treat Indian goalkeepers the same way as I treat Scottish goalkeepers, uh, and I've been very, very successful at that, and just getting them to understand exactly what I want. So obviously, the Scottish game is a bit more physical than the Indian game. So then I have to prepare my goalkeepers for the eventuality that it is going to be a physical game. In India, the game is fast. It is quite tactical. A lot of coaches like to play the right way, where the right way might not always be the proper way, because obviously us at Real Kashmir, the manager David is an unbelievable coach, and he had a system in how to combat against teams that like to break lines, who like to pass, and with our style out, well, in possession of the ball and going forward, is because teams just don't like running back towards their goal. So there's obviously all of that to take into consideration as well, and the differences between Scotland and India. That football, there's no differences in football. Football is football. Football, it comes
Yeah.
down to tactics. It comes down to the strengths of the team. In the 4 games that I've done with Falkirk, we changed our playing style on 3 occasions to play against the opponent. How can we exploit the opponent and their style? And it's very much the same in India with ourselves at Real Kashmir, because the manager is that good. We can identify how to play against a Churchill Brothers, how to play against a Punjab, how to play against a Goalkeeping. Obviously, Goalkeeping won the league, but they never beat us this season.
Yeah,
So,
right.
so it's there is similarities, but football is football. Football is played 11v11. It doesn't matter if it's Scotland, England, or India. Obviously, the standard of the players are obviously going to be different. The speed of the game is going to be different, but it all comes down to tactical work and how to exploit teams. So, and one of the main things as well within the goalkeepers, I've always said from day one when I came to India, my first season with Furba and Sam, you've got to come up to my level. I'm not going to come down to your level. So you come up to my level, you are going to be successful. And we look at what Furba has done. He's obviously went to Mumbai City. He won so many awards in the first season because he reached the level exactly where I wanted him. And now he went and won the double with Mumbai City. This season with Mithun and Anuj, obviously winning the IFA Shield. And
Yes, that final save, penalty save in the final.
well, I wish the camera was on me when when he saved that. I was obviously very, very happy, very happy. But yeah, it was just it's getting the guys up to a standard. So obviously, back to the question, what is the differences between Falkirk and Real Kashmir in Scotland and India? Football's football. It's how you treat it. It is how you treat it, and it's how you treat the players. To, as I say, you get up to my level. You get up to my level, you'll do well. And then, if not, then it might not have been for you. I might not have been the coach that you wanted, but I've been fortunate enough that every goalkeeper I've coached in India still keeps in touch with me, still asks me questions. So
Absolutely.
it's so yeah, as I say, football's football. It's how you treat
All
it
right, so
properly.
that's a good philosophy. Like the insights that you're giving me, that's really brilliant. Like the game is going to be different in some country, like because the country is completely different, so the game will also be different. But then at the end of the day, it's football. It's about 11v11 players playing, fans cheering, and you know. So when I talk about fans cheering, you have won the IFA Shield in a very dramatic way, indeed. Starting from the group stage to the knockout rounds, how was the experience in general?
It was crazy because we had to go through so many protocols to get back out to India. So we were flying out of Scotland, myself, David the manager, and Mason. we were flying out of Scotland on, I think it was the Friday or the Saturday, and then we had the game on the Sunday. I was like, oh wow,
Yeah.
straight into it. No training sessions with Anuj or Mithan. Obviously, good planning had to go into it because we obviously had Suman there as well. So he was training the players, he was coaching the players. I had gave content to the goalkeepers to work on by themselves so that they were just ready. And myself and the manager, we discussed, right, what we're going with as far as the first game is concerned. We went with Anuj, and he done really, really well. So, and then we came to the agreement was, right, we'll do a game each. And yeah, it was really, really good, really enjoyable. There was a there was a few interesting games. I think it was the quarter final. I can't remember the name of the club, but we obviously scored a goal. We won the game 1-0, and yeah, their owner and their staff were not happy. They thought that Danish was offside. Uh, I've looked back on the video; he was well onside. So yeah, but it just shows the passion of Indian people. It shows the passion
Yeah.
of they want their club to go and do well. And it was really good, really good. The semi final was excellent, just because
Yes.
obviously we're playing against Mohammedan Sport and we're playing at Salt Lake Stadium, unbelievable
Yeah.
stadium. But it was it was a great indicator for us to see, right, Mohammedan, they've went and won I League Two. They've had a bit of a break, and then they've came into this competition and they've obviously reached the semi final. And it was going to be a good learning curve for us because a lot of new players, and just wanted to see, right, how we're going to compete against a club who've been playing a wee bit of a break and then going straight into this. So their preparation was so much better than ours. And when going back to the first question that you asked me about the difference between Scotland and India, Falkirk, Real Kashmir, we played to our strengths. We knew that they were a possession based side. We knew that they liked to pass the ball. We knew that if we were solid, compact within a low block system, then they'll do well to break through us. So, and that's the way it proved. Their possession stats would have been through the roof, but we go and win the game 4-0. So it's
Yes.
that, as I say, that's football. So you're then thinking, right, we went through the tournament, we're still unbeaten. We went against an I League team, and we'll see where they finished in the league. They just finished below us because we beat them in the last game of the season. So it just
Yes.
shows that they're a good club and with good players. So to go into the final, it was obviously exciting. It wasn't going to be an easy game because the
Yes.
team that we played against, they had beaten the
George.
Indian Arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had beaten the Indian Arrows. So, and I'm not sure if they beat another I League side. I don't think they did. I think they beat the Indian Arrows, and
Mm.
then they had their path through to the final. So we knew it wasn't going to be an easy game. We knew that if we played to our strengths, then we would be too strong for them. Yeah, it was George Telegraph, wasn't it?
Yes.
Uh, and unfortunately, this is the standard of the manager and myself as well. We weren't happy after the game, to be totally honest, because we didn't play well. We gave George Telegraph too many opportunities. It's quite funny when looking at the goal and I'm sitting down with Mithan after the game and saying, right, okay, you've saved us a free kick save at the start of the second half, but I'm pointing my finger at you for the goal. and other people will look at it, oh, well, good finish, but not the way I work. But I knew eventually he would grasp exactly what I would have wanted in that instance. Obviously, he saved the penalty. But
Yes.
yeah, we weren't happy with the performance of the team. We expect much higher standards from the team, but you can't beat winning. You can't beat winning trophies. And after after the game was finished, we got told that it's the fourth oldest cup competition in the world. So
Yes.
it just shows, and obviously the size of it is
It's
it was
heavy.
rather big,
It's really
crazy,
heavy.
yeah, crazy.
Like
So
one man can't like pick it up and like go about celebrating. It has to be two or three people like lifting it up.
yeah, we I was looking at the guys bringing it up the stairs, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe the size of this thing. We're not getting that back on the plane going back to Kashmir or Scotland, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's too
So
much.
yeah, but obviously delighted to win it. As I say, it's you can play the game. You might not play up to the standard. You might not, us as a coaching staff might not be happy with the way we went about the game. But as I say, you can't beat winning. You can't beat lifting trophies. So it's another remarkable achievement for the club. And yeah, it was a fantastic experience, really good experience, really enjoyable. Obviously, if we got put out in the second round, I would say it was rubbish. It was too early for us.
Yeah.
uh, but obviously that wasn't the case, and I have to say it was really well run as well. It was really well organised, no problems whatsoever, except in that one game. But yeah, no, thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it, and obviously delighted to obviously have won it
So
in the end.
absolutely. Like I still remember the moment that you guys were there on the stage, like when the trophy was being given, like everybody was celebrating, like they were like going crazy as well. Like of course the before the I League, this we got a trophy before the I League, and that too a trophy which was once won by Bayern Munich as well. So it's a
Wow,
long time back. Thomas Muller also played in that particular game which they won. So that's what I
wow.
know. I didn't see the clippings and all, but this is the heritage of IFA Shield.
Mhm.
So in that sense, like did the IFA Shield serve as a preseason for the team before the I League?
Yes, yes, it did. It's obviously you can't beat playing games. Obviously, it's it's quite funny between the two seasons that I've done with Real Kashmir. My first season, I think we had, I think it was a 4 or 5 month pre-season, longest pre-season in history. A normal pre-season in Scotland is 7 weeks, 6 7 weeks, and that's it. And in between that 6 7 weeks, you're obviously training and you're playing games as well. So to have a pre-season in the first season that we had, it was very, very long, and it was tough. This season is shortest pre-season ever. We're obviously getting off a plane and going straight into games. I know we've done
The
that
next
in
day.
our first, yeah, the next day. I know we've done that in the first season with the Duran Cup, but we obviously had time in between after the
Yeah.
Duran Cup, but too much time. So I don't want to sound like I'm moaning about it, but a normal pre-season, you come in, you'll do two 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, really hard training. Um, Obviously, I have my content with the goalkeepers, the manager and assistant manager and first team coach will have their stuff with the players. We're 2 3 weeks, really hard training, and then we start to look at games, and then you play 4 or 5 games, and then go into the season. So I've between a 5 and a 7 week pre-season is
Right.
bang on. Is bang on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went from one extreme in the first season too long to a second extreme, especially with the bio bubble as well, because we played the IFA Shield, we've trained, and then obviously the bio bubbles come into it, where
Yeah.
we've
That's
we've
another
had to
extreme.
go. Oh, wow, unbelievable! But you're confined to a room for 10 days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've reached a fitness because you're training and you're playing, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're sat in a 4x4 room doing
Yeah.
nothing.
Oh,
Well, not doing anything. We've done Zoom classes and everything with the players just to keep them going, keep their bodies moving. But oh my word, never experienced anything like that in my life ever.
yeah, absolutely. Like this COVID situation, like introduced us to such so many weird things that we didn't even imagine that this is something that can happen. Like staying
Hmm.
in a room, like during a tournament, staying in a room in between for like the quarantine period, what we call it, 7, 10 days,
Yeah.
and that's tough. That's tough. And so, like, uh, how was the I League? Like you have experienced I League before, a normal one, and
Hmm.
how is the I League? How was the I League this time with maintaining all the bio bubble, all the security protocols, the mask, the sanitizers, and then training as well, and playing at such a high level? So, how was this whole complicated thing?
It was first and foremost. I have to compliment AIFF for the way that it was organised. Obviously, 90 minutes a day of fresh air is tough, and that's what we were getting.
Yes.
It was really, really tough. But the most important thing was everybody was kept safe. Everybody was kept healthy as well. Obviously, there was maybe a handful of cases during the season, not that many. So it just shows the organisation of it was really, really good to keep the players and all the staff and all the clubs safe. But it was really, really difficult, especially when it was getting to the end of the season.
Yes.
I'm a
At that
hard-working
point.
individual. Yeah, I'm a hard-working individual, so I was doing a lot of admin stuff after training, clipping all my training sessions, uh, doing presentations, doing things, preparing for matches, doing a lot of video analysis. So I was kept relatively busy. I kept myself relatively busy because if I was going to train and then coming back and just sitting, I would have I wouldn't have any hair left. I would have pulled all my hair out. So it was, yeah, it was tough. It was really, really tough. It was different because you're asking players to play at such a high level and such an
Yes.
intensity in the way that we play as well. There's a lot of mental aspects into the way we play. Have to be very disciplined, and obviously, injuries, suspensions caught up with us, and that was always going to take its toll. But for me, yeah, a totally different experience. Would I want to go through that again? To stay safe, yes, but in a normal circumstances, no.
No.
No, it was obviously
It was tough.
you're wearing a mask during a game, and obviously me coming from Scotland, Scotland's top temperature might be between 19 and 23 degrees with
Yeah.
but we've got wind, we've got everything. The humidity is nowhere near as
Yeah.
high where you're in India and
Yeah.
in West Bengal and Kolkata. We reach
It's
there in the
higher.
winter time and it's 29 degrees with a humidity percent of 60-70%. So you're just like, whew. When you're having to wear that mask, it's very, very difficult. Very
Yes.
difficult. So
You're coming from a country which is like relatively very cold and it's windy and all, but like even us, like I have been India all my life. Even I struggled with the mask. So I just thinking what you were going through, like must have been really, really tough and very uncomfortable as well.
Yeah, it was. It was, but it was needed. It had to be done. So it was. Yeah, it was tough, but we got home safe. Myself, the manager, the assistant manager, Mason got out to America as well. Uh, so yeah, these are the sacrifices that you have to make in football. Football isn't like any other sport in the world. There is sacrifices you need to make. There is always bends in the road. It's never a straight road. There's always things happening.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was different. It was difficult, but the main thing was we were kept safe. So so yeah.
So I would like to ask you a question which I really wanted to know, but then was not being able to didn't ask back at that time. So that is like I've been watching the team, and you guys going out to training, you guys coming back, you guys having the dinner, having lunch, breakfast at some like dedicated time, and that's for three
Hmm.
months. That's long. That's tough. So
Yeah.
uh, more than physical, it's more mental. I
Hmm.
believe. So how did you manage so many players? Because I'm sure players were getting frustrated. Like
Hmm.
that's pretty common there. Like in that situation, players will get frustrated. All of the match results will not go your team way. So that also brings in a little bit of frustration, a little bit of anger, sadness. So how did
Yeah.
you deal with all of that? Like how was it?
We we're different being myself, the manager, and the assistant manager. Being Scottish, we are very approachable people, and we are people that will go and approach players as well. Uh, the Gaffer had always had an open door policy, and listen, if you've got any problems, come and see me. That just sums up David as a manager, as a person as well. Absolutely amazing, amazing, and he he portrayed that right through the club and put that right through his coaching staff. Me as a person, anyway, I'm a bubbly character. I'm very
Yeah.
enthusiastic. I'm very approachable. Anybody can speak to me about anything at all. So we had a fantastic team spirit. Sure, there was problems. It's not problems that
Absolutely.
I wish to
There will be
divulge,
in
but
every team. Yeah.
yeah, but that's life. That
Yeah.
you experience that in every walk of life. So, but it just showed. I feel the Mohammedan game, the last game of the season, just summed up what the environment that the manager had created. Because obviously he was suspended, I was taking the
Yeah.
team, and
Yes.
we went out there. And in the three games that I had took, first game against Goalkeeping, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. The second game in the first half against Punjab, not good enough. Second half, unbelievable. Third game against Mohammedan, unbelievable. But that's not down to me. That's down to the environment that the manager had created. A positive, really, really positive environment. So, so yeah, the players. I think if you were to ask any player about their experiences of Real Kashmir and of obviously the situation, then they would praise the club and the manager very, very highly because we did treat it like a family. We did. It was a band of brothers. So
Yes.
it was it was really, really good. We done different things. We done some funny things, egg and spoon races. We done quizzes. We had meetings. Just everybody coming together, and I don't think you would get that at many Indian clubs. To be totally honest, I can't speak for other clubs, but I don't think that, especially other I League clubs, would go to that length and depth to make their players feel so good.
I remember there was 1 or 2 days when I saw you guys training on the corridor of just outside your room. So there was like
Yeah,
Suman there, and he was like clapping and giving all the instructions, and the players were in a line, like running about, doing stretching
yeah,
and all. I really like that. Like even if you're not going to the ground, you're still keeping yourself active, keeping the players mentally and physically fit. That I appreciate a lot. I really loved it. Like I was there standing for 5 minutes and watching. All right, so this is really, really professional. This is good. Really
yeah,
appreciated what you guys did.
yeah. And that comes from the manager. I'll keep on reiterating that. That comes from the manager. That comes from David. Now, people might have their own opinions about David. He is loud on the touchline, but he's passionate. See, us as a country, Scottish people are passionate. We're passionate about our football. We're passionate about doing well. So his passion just relayed right through the team, and that's why up until a point we were 14 games unbeaten. When you're counting the IFA Shield
Yeah,
and then the I League, we were 14 games unbeaten. Obviously, the Mohammedan game when we lost our first game, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Churchill game should never have
absolutely,
lost.
absolutely.
Churchill game should never have lost. The only game that I would really say that we didn't deserve anything out of the game was the Trow game that we lost 3-1. Every other game that we played in, we should have at least have got a point, if not 3 points. And but that comes from the manager. That comes from what exactly he wants and how he portrays it on and off the pitch.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. Like and about 3 years back in 2017, or it was 2018, I took an interview of him where he told like he started off in Rangers, I think,
Yeah.
his career as
Uh,
a
well, he started at Aberdeen. He was at Aberdeen
Aberdeen.
and yeah, Aberdeen, then on to Rangers, and then on to Leeds United.
Yeah. So, talking about Rangers, I was talking about you contributed to a book named The Quiet Man Rose. Can you like just tell me something about that book? Like, what's it about?
It's just about his entire career. It's about how he came through at Aberdeen. He obviously had the world's best manager, Sir Alex Ferguson. He was his
Right.
manager at Aberdeen. So it goes through all of that. It goes through his time at Rangers. He was obviously part. I'm a Rangers fan, so obviously
All right.
delighted to be working with a Rangers legend. He was part of an unbelievably successful team at that point, winning 9 in a row, uh, and winning so many trophies and being a part of one of the biggest clubs in the world. So after that, he obviously goes on to Leeds United and playing in the English Premier League, and it just sums up the man and how good he is as a manager, but what he was like as a player. He was. I'm trying to put it in perspective for the younger generation. He is Andy Robertson at Liverpool. He is a Roberto Carlos. I know that might be going a wee bit too far back, but he was seen as one of the first overlapping fullbacks. And when you look at the game nowadays, especially in the English Premier League and in La Liga, and most levels, but at the very very top level, your your fullbacks are practically your wingers. So he
Yes.
started that trend. He really started that trend, and yeah, he won't mind me saying this. His left foot isn't as good as mine, but it's yeah, he's so yeah, unbelievable career, and then obviously going into coaching, he Elgin Montrose, and then going out to the States as well. He's been a success everywhere he goes, and uh, so yeah, he's taken his playing career into his managerial career, and been successful, because it's not easy to go to these different countries and be a
Yes,
success.
adapting. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So, you're a Rangers fan, so I'm sure you must be on top of the world with the recent performance of your team, especially what
Yeah,
Steven Gerrard is doing with the team.
yeah,
It's an
we were obvious.
invincible team.
Well, touch wood, we can go through the last two games of the season, hopefully. Yeah, I was obviously still in India when Rangers won the
Yeah.
league. So yeah, I was having a party that night, that's for sure. And it's been a long time coming. My dad, funnily enough, he's a Celtic fan. So Rangers and Celtic, that's that big
Oh,
rivalry. So
yeah.
yeah, I I enjoyed calling him and saying, "What you got to say now? What you got to say?" So yeah, no, absolutely delighted. But deep down, I've been in the game a long time, and I knew it would come with Steven Gerrard, because the playing career, as we talk about an environment, uh, he's created at Rangers. It's like, obviously we're talking at a different sort of level in between India and Scotland, but what the manager has created as well, it's just a pure out and out want to win, and we'll go to any lengths and dates to make sure that we, uh, Rangers, I'm talking about, obviously portray exactly what the manager wants. And the man's done it all in his playing career. And now it's, obviously there'd be some Rangers fans saying, well, he didn't win the league in the first season, he didn't win anything in the second season. The club have backed him, because the club know exactly what he was going to bring. And those Rangers fans now will obviously be calling him God, because I think
Absolutely.
we're I think we're 23 points clear of a team that have won 9 in a row, that won a quadruple treble. You can't take that away
Yeah.
from Celtic. It's
Yes.
they've went and done it. So, but to dominate that the way that we've dominated this season, is very, very satisfying for a Rangers fan. But as a football man, what a job! What a job Steven Gerrard and his staff has done. Unbelievable. So hopefully he can keep that going for a few more years to come.
Well, I hope so. Like, I was really shocked when I wasn't following Rangers from the beginning of the season, but then slowly I just checked them out, and I was like, wow, this is something really interesting. Like, he's doing a great job. So I was
Hmm.
after that, like, I got to know they won the league. So brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah,
Mithun Samanta is saying,
yeah,
in the comments, my best coach. I'm sure
yeah.
he is, Mithun. Really,
Yeah, I can see that. Thank you, big guy. What a guy, Big Mitten. What a guy.
absolutely brilliant guy. Hope to have him here as well someday. All right, Jonathan. There's something I want to talk about, which is your endorsement with EvoGK. If you like, guys, he is
Yeah.
an official endorsee of EvoGK. Jonathan, if you can just elaborate on like what EvoGK is and what do they do?
Well, so Evolution Goalkeeping EvoGK is a very, very big coaching company in England. In my opinion, they're the best in England. They run their own academy. They they do coaching days. They do goalkeeping conferences as well. James, the company director, is very, very highly connected. He knows all the top level goalkeeping coaches in England. Where, funnily enough, we're doing a coaching day on the 1st of June, and he's got in Jack Robertson, and Jack is the first team assistant goalkeeping coach at Liverpool. So that just shows how big the brand is. It is a premium brand. It's a premium company, and obviously they've went into the market of producing their own equipment, their own gloves, their own line of clothing as well. So I've done work for James now for about 3, 4 years, and I've loved every bit of it. Me being a part of that and meeting other coaches. He's got a line of top quality coaches who does his academy, does these days as well, and they are top level coaches. But to bring in people like Jack, like what one of the main guys as well is a goalkeeping guru called Eric Steele. Eric Steele was formerly Manchester United goalkeeping coach, Man City, Aston Villa, Derby County. He's an English FA goalkeeping tutor. He is the guru of goalkeeping. So it just shows how high the brand really is. So yeah, when James contacted me to say, "Listen, I want to make you an endorsee. I want to supply you with the gloves." I couldn't say no to that because it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and to be a part of that is an honour for me. It's an honour being asked constantly to do these coaching days as just a special guest coach coming in. So to be asked that, and also to be the first one as well, I was just like, wow, thank you very much. So yeah, I couldn't speak any more highly about the brand, about James himself. The way that he runs his company is absolutely outstanding. It's, as I say, it's a premium brand. So yeah, to be an endorsee and to get supplied fantastic gloves, unbelievable gloves. It was too good to turn down. Too good to turn down.
Absolutely.
I've had other glove sponsors, but not at the lengths and depths that James has went into with the contracts and everything. I was with Tuto Goalkeeping last season. Other fantastic brand, fantastic gloves, but the lengths and depths that James was going to for me was just absolutely through the roof as well. So, and I had for a short period I was wearing Asmir Begovic's gloves, AB1 goalkeeping gloves, and a top brand as well. But as I say, the lengths and the depths that James has went to is absolutely through the roof. So I know he will listen to this, so I'll say thank you again to James, as I do near enough every time that I speak to him, and it's daily that I'm speaking to James. So yeah, no, top brand, top guy, top people that he works with, and obviously world class coaches that he brings in for these coaching days, for these summer camps that he does, and other school holiday camps. So absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely. Being an endorsee of a brand like that, such an elite brand, it must be good. Like, I would definitely congratulate you for that. And also,
Thank
James,
you.
I don't know him, but I congratulate James as well for doing such a great job in his domain or industry. You're a goalkeeping coach. So before we finish, can you give some suggestions to budding goalkeeper coaches or people who want to take up this as a career?
First and foremost, you've got to have a mindset that you've got to work hard. There will, I always say, is in a coaching pathway, the road is never straight. There is always going to be bumps on the road. There's always going to be bends in the road. If you have the feeling that right, you're of a level, then one of the most important, if not the most important things, go and do your badges. That's one of the things when I started out as a coach. I was only 18 when I started out, so I'm going on 21 years coaching. Uh, I instantly went for my level one badge. And then in Scotland, it was slightly more different because at that point, we only had 3 main licenses in Scotland for goalkeeping coaching. There is now 4. So, no, there's more than that. I think there's 5. So yeah, get onto your badges and start to really feel what it is and what it takes to be a coach. Have your own ideas. Don't just what I would class as a YouTube goalie coach, because what you watch on YouTube is fine for content and everything, but you've got to understand the points within what these guys are working on, what they're trying to achieve out of the session. You could be, as a coach, you could be starting out, you go onto YouTube, you see it, and you're like, that'll be brilliant for the kids. But you, as a coach, don't quite know exactly what you're trying to get out of your session. So I would constantly say, be your own man, be your own woman as a coach, create your own content, and try to think of the basics of goalkeeping within that content. So that is one of the biggest things that I would say. Even when I started out, I was of that mindset. I am not going to copy other people's practices. I'm going to think of my own. I might look at a practice and say, right, how can I develop that in my own sense? So that would be one of the biggest things, because then I like to use the word stressing goalkeepers out. Stress yourself out as a coach and see how far you can go until you go, oh, no, this isn't for me. I can't do this. You've really got to stress yourself out as a coach, because if you've got aspirations of becoming a professional, trust me, it is not an easy path. It is not an easy time. You will get stressed out every single day. And this is me talking as an experienced coach. I go into Falkirk. There's that level of expectation. There is that stress level that you've got to step up. So yeah, stress yourself out as a coach. Really push the boundaries. And keep on working hard. Never be afraid to ask questions. I will put this out here now on this format, is if anybody has any questions, if anybody has any aspirations of becoming a coach, please contact me, because I am an approachable person. I am there for other people. So Facebook, Instagram, everything. I won't hand out my phone number, so nobody asks for my phone number, because I've had that a couple of times. But Facebook Messenger, I'll always be happy to send a reply back and discuss what's best, the best protocols, and the best path to exactly what they want. So yeah, work hard, stress yourself out, be your own coach. Don't be a YouTube goalie coach. It actually does my head in. And think of your own content. Think within, if you have a philosophy, if you're in a club, do not be afraid to approach the manager or approach the coaching staff. Gone are the days of the goalkeeping coach just getting told, go away to the side, coach the goalies, and that's it. You're a part of a team. Be a part of the team. Be a voice within the team. Don't be too pushy. Always know your place. But within experience, then you can start to say, what about this? What about that? What about this in relation to the goalkeeper who's playing within a team playing style out of possession. But that comes with time. That comes with experience. As I say, I'm going on 21 years of experience, but I'm still learning. You never stop learning. So never be afraid to ask questions. Never be afraid to approach other coaches and ask questions of them, as long as they're relevant. Don't just go to a coach and ask a question for the sake of asking. make sure it's relevant to exactly what you want, and knowing the manager or knowing the coaches exactly what they would want as well. So yeah, three main points: work hard, badges, don't be a YouTube goalie coach. Think of your own content. So that would be the three main things that I would say, because that's how I've got to where I am today, and I've I've been successful with it throughout my career, so my coaching career. So yeah, it's that's how I would go about it to any aspiring goalkeeping coach out there. But as I say, I'm on Facebook. I'm on the other end of a phone through messages. So never be afraid to reach out and ask questions, because I'll happily answer them and I'll happily help in any way I can.
That's really good, Jonathan. Like very few people are open to like people messaging them, and like very few people reply.
Hmm.
People at your level, they don't tend to help others. Like which I like a lot about you, that you are willing to help others who might want to start off a career in this particular domain. So definitely big cheers for that,
And no
for doing
problem.
that. And also, I know you're a busy man and you gave like what 16 minutes extra to this podcast. So I'm really thankful for
No
that.
problem.
And thank you for coming on this show. I've been waiting to have you as well. So thanks a lot, man. And I really enjoyed, and it was a very insightful show, I must say, and fun as well. So thank you for coming in.
No, it was my pleasure. Thank you for having me. And no, as I say, my pleasure. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
All right, Jonathan. I'll hopefully we'll see you again someday in the show. And till then, all the best with your upcoming ventures and your endorsement with like big brands like EvoGK. So really hoping to see more things coming from you. And I congratulate you for whatever you've done at till this point of your career.
Thank you very much.
All right. So I'll see you soon. And to all the guests, all the viewers, if you have any problem, you can reach out to him. We have tagged him in our Instagram post, so you can find him easily. So don't hesitate, as he said. And on that note, let's end today's podcast. And thank you, Jonathan. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you and take care. Keep yourself safe.
Absolutely.